Dan, welcome, Bodybuilding News Network. So you are a promoter. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I promote a show called the South Bay Championships, and my company is muscleicon. And the show itself is an amateur event, and the whole origin behind it was to be able to create a community type event where amateur athletes can go and have a great experience. We offer cash prizes to the winners. We sponsor all the winners of the show, and then we also teach them or give them marketing training. So I come from a marketing background, and we have an agency that we partner with that can offer resources for athletes post-show to help them grow their brand and kind of turn fitness more into a career for them when they get off stage. And the show, we started doing this in 2018.
Okay.
And initially, getting into events was always something that I was passionate about. And I've come from the competing background, so I've competed in several shows when I was younger, in my 20s.
Okay.
And I would say the passion for doing it was noticing how inspired other people would get when other people in my gym would compete. And I think for me, I was inspired to do it with somebody else that I knew that competed. And I was doing personal training for a long time. I'm originally from New York and started doing it there. And bodybuilding was always something that was, I had this kind of one perspective of what bodybuilding was, and a much different one when I actually got immersed into the culture and started competing and had this different appreciation for it. Mm-hmm. And I had clients who would see some of these athletes and say, like, man, how do they get in that shape? And part of me wanting to offer advice, I wanted to be able to prove to myself and, that I could actually get in that shape. And
right.
I figured I got to walk the walk if I'm going to be giving advice about how to get super lean. And it was something I wasn't super familiar with in terms of the process. And so I wanted to do it myself. So I did a show in, I believe it was 2015, all the way through 2018. Mm-hmm. And also when starting my own event, I realized I don't have any real marketing for it, and I had my own show photos, but I couldn't really use that content to promote my own event. So I had to come up with my own marketing material. So I actually trained for a show. The last show I did, I trained for it with the intention of using that as our first little bit of marketing material. And it's just kind of grown from there organically. And
yeah,
the goal is always to try to offer a really good experience for the athletes to come in and compete with us. So I would say going forward, our company, we're really trying to find new ways to offer more resources to athletes when they are getting to the stage in terms of how to pose. Different courses that we come up with. We have a bodybuilding posing course that we launched earlier this year on how to do your posing, mindset, bodybuilding psychology. My wife's a clinical psychologist, so she dedicated a whole chapter on mindset before the stage and then also post-show when you get off stage. And so I've got a different perspective on this whole process and on the sport itself, because you definitely view certain things as an athlete differently than when you're now organizing an event. You start kind of putting yourself in the mindset of some of these other promoters and these other shows as to what the goals are, how to structure the business, and then how to make your show successful. Mm-hmm. And so organizing events is really fun. It was obviously halted heavily in 2020.
Yes.
And so we had to find new ways to adapt and grow. And it was almost a blessing in disguise, because I started realizing that putting all our eggs in the event basket probably wasn't a good idea.
Sure.
And not just because of the pandemic, but in general, it takes a lot to organize a show and to have this really be successful. And you really never know who's going to show up. I think our first show, we had think we had like 4 signups or 4 like confirmed registrations like 6 weeks out.
Wow.
And I was like panicking. I was like, what if we're not able to deliver? And we had other elements of the event, like we had fitness celebrities like that we knew that were going to be a part of the panel. We had this whole great setup for our first event. And so I said, worst case, we're going to throw like a huge party. And, no, but no matter what, we're just going to continue to move forward with it and try to make this the best, experience we can. So we have, vendors. I was like, particularly with the music, like what kind of vibe and environment do we want to create at the event?
Yeah.
And one of our judges is this woman named Tamara Day, and she came in and comes from a bodybuilding background and almost left the sport because of how certain things were. Okay. And I felt like there was this almost like a void, or I guess like a void that I felt like could be filled within the industry.
Yeah.
And she felt very strongly about the journey that athletes go through leading up to the stage. And I did as well, and I think looking back on it after competing, you start to see all the things that you learned along the way, all the things that make you, you're a much different person after you get off stage than when you started. Yeah. You've learned how to discipline yourself, how to handle challenges under pressure. There's all these different things about the sport and the process of getting on stage that bleeds into every other facet of life. And I thought that was incredibly valuable. And so we have a category in our show called the Inspire Award that she created. And it goes to recognize somebody that has gone through something, very inspirational, very, whether they lost a lot of weight, if they've done this against all odds, but people that have used fitness and bodybuilding to overcome, great challenges in their lives. And so we recognize those people at our show. And last year we ended up having 2. We decided to grow it to somebody that's on stage and then somebody that's not on stage, so that other people can feel like they're a part of this, and to inspire more people everywhere, and so that's really the goal. I want to try to put as much positivity into the industry as we can. And I think the accolades and the trophies, the placing, it's great. And it takes so much to get up there, and to win is, really, really difficult. I think it's one of the most challenging sports in the world, 100%. You're never really done. Yeah. Like when you get off a soccer practice, you might like go for beers with your friends or something like that. But like in bodybuilding, it's way different. Like you leave the gym and you're still on it with your food, your water, your sleep, your, scheduling. What you introduce into your life has to be really, really on point, particular, and planned. Right. And a lot of things can go wrong. So it's a really bumpy, rocky journey to get there. And so I definitely recognize that. And I want to try to find new ways that we can acknowledge, these athletes and what they go through. And I remember when I was competing backstage, I'm talking to some of these athletes, and they're like, one guy was like a lawyer who had like 4 kids. Wow. Another person was like an EMT, like, their sleep schedule is really crazy all over the place. And I think you generally just see this kind of polished gem on stage, and you don't really know the backstory and what it takes. Yeah, you don't know the athlete. Yeah. Right. You don't really get to know the athlete. And a lot of them are, they don't necessarily have everything going for them that you would think, and someone looking from the outside might say like, oh, that person's got like the best this or the best genetics or this or what, whatever it is on their side. And that's why I could never do it. But the lifestyle is really attainable to anybody. And I started noticing that within my own clients, like, everyone is trying to build their body in a way, and it just teaches you so many amazing things. And so I love it. I think it's an incredible sport, an incredible community. And the amount of people that end up coming together to support one another was also really inspiring. My first show, I thought it was going to be this testosterone filled backstage of like people like eyeballing you, like I'm going to take you out, but it's not like, not at all. people get off stage and they're like fist pumping, high fiving each other, like, great job, you know, all these
Yep.
people that you connect with post show. That was one thing I loved about our event too, is that we help facilitate all these other connections and opportunities for people with different vendors, with different fitness celebrities that we had at our event. And it's just amazing to see all that grow, you know? So the community aspect is so cool. I love that.
Yeah, I've wondered, and I guess since you're a promoter, it's a great question or a great place to ask the question. I don't see a lot of promotion of specific athletes in general when it comes to these amateur shows. Something that I really take pride in on BNN is I do all these athlete spotlight videos and scorecard breakdowns, you know, breaking down exactly who people are, even on the amateur side.
Yeah,
Is that
awesome.
something that the South Bay Championship or your organization is like thinking about doing or is doing now to like build some hype, and also you were talking about that community piece?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting when you're in this position, I have to be really neutral with a lot of things.
Yeah,
And so highlighting somebody could potentially be looked at as favoritism down the
sure.
line, especially if that person wins a show. So, I mean, I love the idea of recognizing people, but I've got to be careful with how I do that. You know,
Right.
if someone's competing for a show that we have and they haven't won, or, you know, or they're just signing up. I mean, I think if I did it in a general sense, it would make more.
Right. Like with your
No?
registration, you have them with all their, and you make sure it's digital, so you streamline,
Mhm.
automate it. You put you have a block for their Instagram, you have a block where they can upload um, previous contest photos, and then you can just slap things into a template, and then you can make a post or hire somebody, an external company, to do athlete spotlight posts. It doesn't have to be videos. You could
Yeah,
do posts for each and every person just so it's not bias.
right. Post show, we did that. Like people that competed
Definitely
on
post show.
stage,
Yep.
right? Like I would do like a athlete spotlight for the week or something like
Yep.
that, you know. And if I knew something about them or they had shared some things about their lives, like
Right.
they're, you know, like this one woman, she's like a mom of four, and she's in her like mid 50s. Like we did a little spotlight of her like on our Instagram page and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah, you
but
got to
growing
do
that
that.
would be that is something that is really powerful, you know.
Right.
And then
On the
someone else
front
who's
end,
in that
though,
position.
if you do it on the front end, you're going to
Mhm.
build that hype, that excitement. Um, you know, being very general, the last time I competed, I wanted to come into that competition as from like a promotion side where I'm like, how can I promote the show and other athletes competing? And it
Mhm.
was, I'm telling you, it was so difficult to find the people that were competing. There was just no way. Luckily, I knew the owner of the organization, so like it helped, but it shouldn't be that choppy to
Right.
promote from an athlete's standpoint. Like
Mhm.
that should be something that you guys, like the promoters, should be thinking about and implementing. Is like, how can you promote the athletes the best to build that like internal buy-in to want to keep competing, to keep coming back to the same show year and year after.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. As long as we're able to do it without, you know, favoring anybody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. And getting more of those stories out
Right.
is something that we really want to do, and I think is what inspires a lot of change, and ultimately I think will help the sport grow more,
Mhm.
is just talking about other things besides, you know, winning the show, because
Right.
then it all becomes about that. And then you kind of start getting into, okay, well, what is this all for, you know? And I think I got to that in my third show,
Mm.
and I had this different perspective of what I was going to get out of it. You know, I think I think my first show was 24, and I saw certain like pros that had these like $10,000 a month sponsorships.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this, like, my plan is I'm going to compete. I'm going to like win a show. I'm going to be in really good shape. There wasn't many people in my area or in like my group of people that we were friends with that had competed or, looked like that, like they
Right.
were on the cover of a magazine or anything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get sponsored, and then I'm just going to be a competitor and,
Mm.
live off like sponsorship money
Bodybuilding
and prize
dream.
money. And that's going to be it. But it's just, the landscape of all of that changed so quickly. And,
Yeah.
I think other brands started realizing, instead of paying one person 10 grand a month, we can get all these little micro influencers,
Yep.
give them shirts and promo codes, and that have more, have this like solid organic followings, and then just make a lot more money that way. And but I think when you're going into this whole aspect, you really want to think about what your why is. Like, what are you trying to accomplish, and then where do you see this going in the long run? I think it's cool to do a show for, and I'm mainly speaking to people that are pursuing this as a career, or wanting to pursue this as like their um I guess like, they're dedicating a ton of time into this. Is this something that's going to fuel another passion outside of the sport? Because I think it's not really a career for many people.
No.
Um, it's it's an opportunity to build a personal brand, and I think there's a lot of ways that people can do that they're missing nowadays.
Right. What sort of things do you think, outside of like the Arnold Classic champions and the people that are making six figures off show purses, what are some things that you really notice, from like your different hats that you wear, that athletes are missing when it comes to building a brand and monetizing their different, ways of, making money?
So I think the first thing would be, your perception of how you think things are going on social media are not going to be an accurate representation of how things are really going in real life, especially from a financial standpoint. I've met plenty of athletes and worked with plenty of influencers who are incredibly famous on social media, but don't make any money.
Right.
And so if you see somebody that looks like they're incredibly busy, they're doing a lot of things, doing a lot of shoots and this and that, I don't think that, I think it's in developing a personal brand, it could have a lot of benefits, but in terms of putting all your focus and eggs into that basket, I don't think it's a good idea. And, I guess to elaborate on that is, I was under the impression that I was going to get found somehow. Like I was going to post
Right.
enough shirtless photos that someone was going to be like, man, he's got it all,
Yep.
get this guy a sponsorship, or get this guy a brand opportunity. But what you really want to try to do is think about, do you want to offer? What's going to be, what are you centering? Like maybe you're focusing your content on something, like what are you centering your content around? And are you offering personal training? Nowadays you have so many opportunities. You can create a course, you can do online coaching. There's a lot of ways you can scale and, grow your business and, get a lot more of your time back. But if you're just posting like frontable bicep photos, a lot of times it will just end there. Like it's just a cool photo at the end of the day and it doesn't go anywhere. So what do you want to offer? And what we want to do is to show athletes, like, here's what's available today in 2022. It's way different than it was like a year ago, even like 6 months ago. It's way different.
Right.
And how can we create a good ecosystem for you that is where you're not super focused on just posting every day. I got to a point where I felt like I was working for my Instagram page, where I'm like constantly thinking about what I'm going to post. I got to post it this time. I got to do it twice a day.
Yeah.
I got to hire a photographer to do photo shoots, but it's like, it's just not going anywhere, financially. It's just becoming a money pit. And it's cool. People would like come up to me, like when I go back east to visit friends, they're like, man, you're killing it. See all the shoots you're doing. And I think they think there's a lot of money behind it, but initially, like there wasn't,
Right.
It was just me trying to build a personal brand. And for anyone that's doing that, and, I think it's great and you should continue to do that, but also think about, what do you want to offer? And then really getting good at crafting that offer so that you're not, you can use what you're building with bodybuilding to support that. And, not all the opportunities are going to come just from what you look like. There's so many people out there now that have incredible physiques and that look really good.
Yep.
I met one guy at Gold's Gym, who I found out lived like 2 hours away, but he's there every day.
Wow.
He's always posting there. And I'm like, dude, why don't you just go to a gym near you? And he's like, because I want to put myself in front of all these people that I want to make connections with, and I want to create opportunities for myself. And I'm positioning myself in front of these people and I'll travel that distance every day. And, sure enough, he's gotten a ton of different opportunities from it because he's putting himself out there and he knows what he wants and he's not afraid to try to ask for it and to pursue it. I think as long as you continue to pursue what you want, people will start recognizing that, and it'll eventually turn into something. But sitting back and just hoping that it will just fall in your lap is just, it's got to be super rare that happens.
Right. Or just trying to do something and not, like you talked about, knowing your why, like sitting back, doing something consistently, but not knowing where you want those efforts to get you to, is another like big spot where, you could get lucky. Like, I feel like I got really lucky with this channel. And I kind of figured out my why along the way. But a lot of people, you can't just, I guess it'd be perfect to give them an example of like my original account where I just made personal vlog videos about me and my weight training journey. And it's like, no one knows who I am. Like, no, why would anyone care what some random guy from the Midwest is doing in a 20-minute vlog from his car?
Right.
I didn't know my why. I was just making content. Like, there was no reason.
Sure. I think being fluid with your ideas or where you're going with this is also really helpful, and not thinking, it's good to plan out 100%, but a lot of times you don't know what things are going to look like as they unfold, and what may start out as something, it may look completely different at the end. So we always have this, I love this one quote where it's like, you don't have to know the whole path, just the next step. And that may turn, what you started doing, like I thought it was going to be just doing events like forever, or with this brand. But then we started moving into media and marketing, and that's my background, is marketing. And I realized we can offer a lot more from a marketing standpoint and helping other people grow their businesses, and finding the different pain points that people have as to why they're not being successful, and helping people grow their personal brands or their own business. And, as opposed to just upping the prize money every single year.
Right.
For our shows. And at first I was thinking, okay, we'll try to get to a point where we're doing well enough that we can offer like all this prize money, or like a really good sponsorship that will carry somebody, and eventually will be the people that are offering a lot. But just doing that with the event, I started seeing the limitations with it. And not that it can't grow to that point. I certainly think it can. But I can't help but look at some of these other sports and see, these other pro athletes they've got these huge contracts,
Right.
And I think it's a shame that bodybuilding doesn't have that availability. Maybe a lot of it comes down to like the steroid use and stuff like that other brands don't want to be associated with, or maybe other like media networks don't want to be associated with. But each person that is competing and is like the best in that discipline, I think it should be recognized a lot more, because what these athletes are going through is like, it's incredible. And some of these people that we worked with that end up on the big stage, it's just unbelievable. I know I'd love to be in a position where I can help them create more opportunities, so even though people that win our show, we sponsor them, like I don't like locking them into a scenario where it's like, you can only work with us and nobody else.
Right.
I want to be the brand eventually that is helping you get other sponsorships and create other opportunities for you.
Right.
You can keep growing, and people eventually know who you are. And then you never know, like who may approach you or who you may end up getting connected with. I had a friend of mine who was saying that he used to be the person that would take the comfortable route when people would invite him somewhere, like someone would invite him to an event, and he's like more introverted. He's like, oh, I don't think I'm going to go to that, you know, like an event in Hollywood or even like the Fit Expo got coming up.
Right.
Oh, I don't know if I'd like to be around all those people. And then he would get encouraged to go, and then he would go and he's like, oh, wow, I met this person. I made this connection. I did this, I did that. And so I feel like if you can put yourself in more positions like that and just say yes, I mean, even like barbecues I've been to where I meet somebody and turns into something, you know?
Right. Yeah. Associating yourself around like-minded individuals is such a powerful tool that I feel a lot of people, especially within our industry, they're so introverted. They just want to stay at home, eat their chicken and rice and train. But it's like, you're not going to build that network and that association if you're just always stuck at home.
Yeah. And I understand it. I was just like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, your path to doing this will probably look much different than everybody else's. So it's you know, I like trying to encourage people to just find what they want to do and just start with one thing and then just keep building off of it. And eventually you find out you're really great at something else. I mean, I think that's one thing that bodybuilding does really well. It teaches you how to commit to something and then see it all the way through.
Yep.
And, you know, that, like I said earlier, like bleeds into other facets where now you're able to replicate that discipline into something else. And I noticed that I was able to do that with organizing the show, with a lot of the things that I learned competing. I was able to kind of use a lot of those skills in, you know, organizing stuff. Organizing an event, you know. So so yeah, there's a lot of opportunity out there. You just have to be willing to go get it and go find it. And I think I also recognize that most people will not, or the majority of people will not. So that's an opportunity in itself. Like, you just taking that extra step to go do it. Like, most people are not going to do it. So don't think about trying not to get overwhelmed, I guess, with people that are doing it better, because yours isn't going to look like that. It's going to look way different as long as it's genuine and authentic. It's coming from you, like, and you know, it will go the right way. And you know, each time you fail at it, you gain more experience. And now you're the person that, you know, you're the person that people want to come to for advice on how to do it. Like, we've failed in tons of things in organizing our events, and I've spent so much money that on stuff that I never ended up using or I couldn't use. But it's taught me so much. So we eventually started helping other people plan and grow their own events, you know, small to big, because of the resources that we built and some of the shortcuts that we can now provide, you know. So, but yeah, all comes from bodybuilding, you know. Yep.
It all starts from that interest in, you know, trying to either better yourself or, you know, invest yourself into a community or a hobby that is maybe a little bit healthier than what you were doing before. And then, you know, next thing you know, you run into people like you, Dan, and then you start learning how to make TikTok videos, even though you're not good at it. And then you just make realistic goals. And like you said, you fail along the way. And the next thing you know, you have an audience.
Yeah. You know, and not everyone will support what you're doing, and that's okay. You know, you kind of have to just stay in your own lane and keep focusing on what you want to do. And, you know, this is a very niche sport. You know, there really isn't a whole lot of places to go from in terms of where you're able to compete. For example, you know, there are a lot of other shows out there. I went to one in Mexico a few years ago, and I was always surrounded with the main federations you have here in the United States. But when I went to Mexico, there's a different one that I saw and had all these other categories like sports model, and their divisions were named.
I've seen like a division where like you wear a suit, like the man wears a suit, and I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah. And, you know, in like Australia and Japan, Korea, they have all these different things that are their version of what we have here in the States. And,
Mm,
um, you know, so there's a lot out there. You just, you know, you want to be open to just exploring, you
yeah.
know, what's available to you. Um, but, um, but yeah, you know, so with our event, you know, we're doing something a little bit different. And but my main focus again is just to help athletes grow and to provide more value every single year. And so as we continue to grow, my intention is to continue to put more and more back into the events that we have and to keep building the tools on our belt to, you know, if someone comes to us and says, hey, look, you know, I've got this and this and this, what can I do with it?
Yeah,
Here's what's
absolutely.
available. Let's create a business plan. Let's create an infrastructure for you and the right ecosystem to make this successful so that you've now got a full business. And a
Mhm.
lot of people have the leverage on their side. They have everything they need already. They just don't really know how to implement it. So,
Mm,
but yeah.
yeah. And if
So,
they don't know how to do it, what's the first step that they need to do to learning how to, you know, be more than just a competitor?
I would say, you know, start with what are you good at? What are you not good at?
Mhm.
There's certain things that I'm not good at. And so I try to work with other people that are good at those things to complement what we're doing. I think one of the issues that I came up with in the beginning was I was trying to do everything on my own. And I
Facts.
felt like I needed to do everything on my own. Number one, that I guess this is just, you know, kind of my baby and with the event and everything like that. But I couldn't do everything. Like at the first event we had, I was running all over the place. I was the MC on
Mm.
stage. I was also trying to, like, you know, fix the pull-up bar outside. I was
Oh,
trying to,
wow.
you know, greet everybody. You know, there's just um and you know, I definitely learned a lot from that. But if you're, you know, if you're at a starting point right now, like really find out what you're good at and don't feel bad about what you're not good at, and then try to seek out people that you can work with that have a like-minded vision, like, or you know, someone that would work well with you.
Mhm.
And not necessarily like a business partner, but bring other people in that have um, that are good at things that you're not, and find ways to tackle one problem and then another and then another, and just keep going.
Yeah.
But I think having a, you know, if you've got a passion for something or a vision for something, just keep finding ways to make it happen. And like I said, it's not going to look anything like, it's probably not going to look anything like what you thought it was in the beginning. And that's okay. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
being fluid with it.
Yeah. Case in point, like I thought I was going to be a supplement reviewing guy. And then
Mhm.
now I don't even talk about supplements, you know, outside of first attachment. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's all different. It's, you just got to start. The important part is to, like you said, identify your strengths and weaknesses and just start doing something that's, you know, realistic, measurable. Um, yeah, especially the realistic and measurable piece. If
Mhm.
you're going to make content, you know, start something easy or like something once a week and just go for some time, make a little script of like the topics you want to talk about so that you're
Mhm.
just not talking about random stuff, and then just keep doing it. And then eventually
Yeah.
people will get used to that schedule and you'll build some followings. And yeah, you
Yeah.
just got to start somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's something else to think about when you're setting something up is what's in it for them, what's in it for the people that are
Yeah. What value are
paying
you
for what you're
providing?
offering. And I thought, you know, when I was competing and posting my content, I would post stuff that I liked, you know, which is fine, but it didn't do as well, at least not the way I thought, because, you know, no one else is really getting any value from it, you know.
Mm,
I think that's more so on platforms like TikTok. Like I posted like a cool workout reel from one of our athletes on there, and people were like commenting like, "What's this for?" You know,
right.
I was like, "Oh, okay." It's got to be somewhat educational, I guess, or putting out content that is offering some kind of value is probably gonna do better. And it turns out that was the case.
Right.
So if you're strategizing content for the week, or even what you want to offer as a business, just think about, are you solving a problem? And then what are people getting out of it when they go to your page? It's much different. I'm purely talking about trying to build a personal brand or a business. Like, if you have a personal page, it's just you and you want to post photos of you and your family, like that's totally different. But I didn't realize how, like me doing personal training, I didn't realize me posting all the content where I was super, super shredded or in this shape that most people are not going to attain or may not even want to. I was alienating all these other people that I could potentially work with. And someone said that to me once. They were like, you've done a really good job of, of targeting like 10% of the market. How can you cast that net a little bit wider into more people?
Right.
So if you're one of those people that's posting like a lot of photos where you're in your best shape, like think about doing, taking a different approach if your goal is to maybe like build more clients or something, because some people may, if for any personal trainers out there, I'm sure you've had people come to you in the first session. They're like, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to look like that. I want to work with you, but I don't want to get to this point that you were at, or I don't want to look like this person, and again, that's a whole nother conversation of like why that may not be the case. But from a marketing perspective, it's really good to get a sense of how other people are looking at your stuff versus how you're looking at it. And not everyone may jump to support what you're doing right away, even if they really like you or they're close friends and stuff.
Sure.
I think initially I only had like my family buying our shirts and stuff like that, until we built our community up a little bit.
Yep.
But, so anyway, that's as far as marketing yourself or branding, those are some things I would think about and consider when trying to grow something off stage. And if you're interested in learning more about that, or getting someone to review what you currently have and where you want to take it, just reach out to me.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to just sit on a call with you and just see what you have available, and then go through some of the things that we offer that can help take you there. And I don't mean that in the sense of like plugging this at all. I just mean that that's what we want to do. We've got all these resources that we want to offer people. So let us teach you. We can teach you how to do it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan, man. Dan, man. I remember I had a youth pastor way back when, and I used to call him Dan the man with the van. Just a funny memory. But yeah, man, we appreciate you coming on the channel, sharing all that knowledge. The South Bay Championships is when?
So this is our show, and it is August 6th at the Irvine Barclay Theater. We'll have vendors. We got some live performances, and this year we are partnering with or working with the Muscular Dystrophy Association to try to raise money for muscular dystrophy. It's something that means a lot to my family and I. My youngest brother has muscular dystrophy, and I want to really, again, try to create that community sense for around this sport. And so we're and I'm really grateful that I have something like this that I can use to support my younger brother and then other people that are struggling with neuromuscular disease. So the proceeds from the event will go to the MDA, and my parents are really thrilled with that. They donate every year. And then we offer to the overall winners $1,000 cash prize. We sponsor everybody, and then there are all the overall winners, and then we give them marketing training to teach them how to turn what they are doing off stage into a business that they can then grow throughout the year.
Yes, perfect, because your business can't stop when you're not on stage.
Right.
It's such a small piece,
Yeah. So keep finding new ways to create opportunity is the
opportunity. Find new and exciting ways to create content. Communicate with your audience and actually see what they want to see. Putting a poll out there. I was so surprised when I found out that my audience cared more about quality than quantity. And then I had to really evaluate like me just hopping on a camera for 10 minutes in 1 second, uh,
Mhm.
really rethinking that. So,
Right, right.
um, Dan, how can people get a
Awesome.
hold of you if they want to learn more about how to do this piece, becoming more than just a competitor?
So we've got 2 pages. We've got Muscle Icon, so it's just at Muscle Icon, or you can go to our media page, which is Muscle Icon Media. It is a separate, um, business that we have aside from the event, where athletes can hire us for content creation and social media marketing. And that could be from Google SEO, Facebook ads, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. We can help you create those resources and then teach you how to grow them. Yeah, at Muscle Icon or Muscle Icon Media, or if you want to email me directly, it's dan@muscleicon.com, and I'll be happy to schedule a call with you and you know learn more about you and what you're trying to do, and
Yeah.
go from there and teach you how to grow.
Yeah. I mean, based off our call, like, I don't know anything about YouTube analytics for like how
Mhm.
well the channel's growing. So that's something that I need to do is make sure that we link up after and
Yeah,
actually learn what
definitely,
I'm
man.
supposed to be doing and what these things mean and the retention, and there's so much.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, shoot, Dan.
awesome, man.
Again, appreciate you coming on, man. We look forward
Absolutely. Thank you
to
for having me. This
covering.
is so
Yeah.
cool. I love what you're doing with this channel. And, I know it will do well. One of those things that you can just recognize right away, like you got something going right now, and you're doing a tremendous job. So just keep going. I'm really excited to see where this will be like in a
Yeah.
few months.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to filling up that wall with show posters. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
anyone's
absolutely.
listening and promoters and they want a poster on the back, just hit me up, Saunch at bodybuildingnews.net, my brand new website. Super excited for that. Uh, but yeah,
Awesome.
man. Anything else?
Um, no, I think that's it. I mean, for for competitors that are going into bodybuilding for the first time, just some small takeaway points is, uh, it's there's a lot of things along the way that are going to prevent you from wanting to continue. Just keep going and think about the long game. It's easy to not think about that when you're really young, especially if you're in your early 20s. You just want to get on stage. It's awesome. Um, but yeah, really think about where you want to take this and what you want to do going forward. And if you don't know, that's totally fine. And I didn't, a lot of people don't. But
I still don't.
yeah. I mean, and that's one of the best parts about it is you don't know where things are going to go, and opportunities can come from anywhere as long as you continue to seek them out. So keep looking for more ways to grow, more people to connect with, and you might be one, interaction away from turning down this whole different path. So just keep pursuing that, and continue to have the intention to learn more and grow, and I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah, just keep doing it.
Yeah,
Just keep trying.
right.
All right, Dan. Thanks for
Awesome,
coming
man.
on,
Thank you
man.
very much.
Look forward to probably having you back on right before the South Bay Championships, so you can promote
Okay,
it a little bit heavier, and then we'll see from there. But yeah,
awesome.
guys, check him out if you guys want to learn a little bit more. I know I learned so much on our first call. Make sure you reach out to Dan. His contact info will be in the description of the video if you didn't write it down already.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll talk to
Yeah,
you guys soon.
yeah. See you guys.